me out something hours. The sweat on my back's got my shirt soaked and sour. And oh, it's already gone. Second night's coming and I'm spinning back around. We're all caught up, can't hear or feel the sound. And oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worrying about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. But money's not something that's free. Seems the roll of the dice never rolls back to me. And oh, it's already gone. A bird in my hand, two cans in the other, start spinning around. Now here comes another. And oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. And all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Whoa, it's already gone. Already gone. It's already gone. Go.
What is up, Jags fans? We are here post Super Bowl. The NFL season is officially over, and your Jacksonville Jaguars have a lot of work to do. But I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Maybe look at some of the free agents that are available. Maybe some people we could add to in the free agency class to maybe make us look a little bit more like the Super Bowl teams that we watched yesterday. Although the game wasn't very good. Two pretty well-built teams through the draft and free agency and things of that nature. We're going to get into draft breakdown stuff here in the next few weeks and stuff. But I kind of wanted to take a peek at the Jags cap situation, the free agency situation. What could the Jags do to make their team look like the Eagles, look like the Chiefs, one of these teams that has been dominant? Obviously, we have a new coach, but just watching these playoff teams over the last few weeks, you can just really notice that those teams are on another level. And, you know, that's okay to say. And we may not be far off. We may be far off. But really, we got to be real about the fact that we're not there. We're not even close. You look at the amount of wins that we had. I mean, the Chiefs only losing 2 games. The Eagles looking dominant all year. So get into the chat. This is a fan show. So get into the chat and tell me what the Jags need to do in order for the Jags to look like these teams we watched yesterday. And if you want to say something else in the chat, completely fine. This is a fan show. So I try to hit all the comments here. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome. The views have been good lately, so I figured maybe some newer people here. There's some things in the video description. Racha Sriacha sauce. This show is sponsored by them, so make sure to buy some of that. It's really good sauce. It's in the video description link there. My socials are in there. Some other fun stuff you can check out. So make sure to do that. Well, let's get kicked off with some comments here. Charlie Boy says, first. That's right, Charlie Boy. Robbie Santa says, hey, Jason. Hey, Robbie. Charlie Boy goes on to say, Duval. Topa says, sup, Jason? Not much. Got a busy week this week, but that's okay. Being busy is good. Being busy is good. As long as you can balance the rest, hobbies, things like that. This is a hobby for me. So this is a good refresher time for me. I hope everything's going good with you. Kyle says, yo. Robbie Santa says, I'm glad the Chiefs lost. I do kind of want to talk about, and we got Chiefs got their butts whooped. We got F the Chiefs. Just shows you build a team from the trenches out. And so that's what I'm kind of, I don't know, like, is it just me, or does it seem like a lot of people are maybe overreacting to the game, right? I don't think the Chiefs played a standard game. They couldn't control the ball at all in the first half. They couldn't get a drive going. I thought their game plan was terrible. I mean, they ran the ball 3 times in the first half. And I know people on Twitter were like, well, they couldn't get any drives going. They couldn't get anything going. But you at least got to try to run the ball. 3 rushes in the entire first half is criminal. Like, everyone that's saying, oh, the trenches, the Eagles were just getting pressure with 4. They didn't blitz a single time. Well, the Chiefs never ran. So why would, I mean, they didn't need to. They were getting pressure because the defensive linemen for the Eagles could just pin their ears back. And of course the Chiefs O-line looked bad because they never established any run. So they were in pass pro sets every single play. The Eagles knew it. The Chiefs knew it. Before long, they got behind so much where they couldn't run the ball. So I just thought the game plan was bad. The mistakes came at bad times. Giving up a pick 6 is bad. Giving up an interception on your own, like, goal line is bad. So obviously those things didn't lead to success. I thought it was just a bad game by the Chiefs. And I really don't know what the game plan was there. I really don't. Like, with how aggressive the D-line was flying up the field, like, a draw would have been a great play call at any time. And they just never ran one. So a little confused. I don't like the Eagles or the Chiefs. So much like the national championship game, I didn't really care who won. Halftime show I thought was okay. I couldn't really hear it that well. People complain about the sound quality. I like Kendrick Lamar a lot, so I was cool with him. I know people wanted to hear more popular songs, but I thought it was fine. I like that it was kind of simple, right? You remember, like, when The Weeknd did his and he was, like, running through a maze of mirrors and it was, like, all crazy. I'm glad it wasn't that. It was nice and simple, just a performance. Yeah, I thought it was overall, obviously a crap game, but, it was fun. I won the squares. I won the first quarter, and then I won the end of the game squares. That was good because actually it was in a position where at the end of the game, when the Chiefs went for 2, I had the square if they didn't get it and the square if they did get it. So it worked out either way for me at the end. But overall, good time. I hope you guys also had a good time at your Super Bowl parties. Robbie Santa says, did you hear the yard line Yoda noise about T-Mac and Travis Hunter being at the top of Liam Cohen's list? I love that, because we're going to look at the free agents here in a second, and there's not a lot of free agents receivers that are really quality. There's really not. It almost makes you think about keeping Christian Kirk, even with that heavy cap hit. It's like your options aren't great. We'll take a look at them here in a second, but your options are not great at receiver. So, yeah, maybe you do draft T-Mac. Maybe you do draft Travis Hunter. I'd be on board with that. The Eagles D-line dominated. They did. It's crazy they didn't even blitz Mahomes. Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, that they made a lot of people realize how important the D-line is. The regimes here in the past invested a lot into the D-line. First-round pick and Josh Hines-Allen. Number 1 pick in Trevon Walker. Paid a bunch of money for Arik Armstead. Paid a bunch of money to Devon Hamilton. Went and drafted Mason Smith in the 2nd round. They've gone out and tried to address the D-line. They just hasn't worked out for whatever reason. So Charlie Boy says fix the O-line. That's a big issue. I mean, the Eagles O-line was stout, and although Saquon Barkley couldn't really get going, they won because they protected Jalen Hurts. Fix the trenches. Secondary and free agency, big guys in draft. I mean, you're going to have to address secondary. You're going to have to address wide receiver. You're going to have to address right guard. I mean, do they leave D-line alone? Because Mason Smith's going into his 2nd year. Like I said, I mean, you have a solid 4 or 5. I mean, how much can you really add to the D-line? I mean, Mason Graham, great pick, but then you're rotating a lot of snaps. I mean, you're taking a lot of snaps away from Hamilton and Mason Smith, which may be fine, but again, new regime. There's no telling what they'll do. King David said the Chiefs stopped what they focused on, and that's the Eagles' run game. Stopped with, but didn't account for the long bomb passes or the quarterback planned runs. They should have accounted for the quarterback planned runs, but they didn't. You're right. But the throws to Devonta Smith and to A.J. Brown, perfect throws, perfect catches. Not much you can do about that. I mean, I think they would have been okay with the offense. I know the Eagles' offense was like really good, but like I think they would have been okay with that if Mahomes didn't throw those 2 interceptions. I mean, that changes the whole dynamic of the game. They lost by 18 points. Those 2 interceptions were definitely, obviously, 14-point swings. I wouldn't mind another Janet Jackson halftime show. We were talking about that at the Super Bowl party. It's funny. Not having to blitz once against the Chiefs was amazing. 4 big uglies beating 5-6 with a chip included. Yeah. What a Monday stream. Yeah, I figured, since the Super Bowl just took place, we do one. Mason Smith started showing promise toward the end. He's a very raw player that needs coaching. I like Mason Smith. I think he could be a good player. I mean, I really do. And I really do. That's why, I mean, D-line is not a huge need for me. I mean, can you get some guys to rotate in? You probably need a rotating edge, yes. I think you could get away with your interior, maybe bring in a guy, but again, I don't know what they're thinking. But I like Mason Smith too. I really do. Graham has to be the play. Hamilton is not good enough. We've had a few years of his production. Armstead is old. How much movement can you have with the wide receiver room? Will the next wide receiver start? Yeah, I mean, Armstead, it'll be interesting to see when he moves back into his D tackle role. That could change some things. You're right. Devon Hamilton, it's not that he's bad. He's just, been very unlucky with injuries. So I guess the best ability is availability is what they say, right? So if you're not on the field, then you're not really doing much. Robbie Santos says, the real question is, are you hungover? I am not hungover. I am not. I was moved a little slow this morning. I will say that. But now I'm a little too old to be getting hungover. I had to work today. Gabe isn't going anywhere, and they just brought Spencer Whipple over, who's Kirk's old coach. Yeah. I mean, they definitely could use another. You can never have too many receivers, I guess, especially when you have a team that has one. And can Christian Kirk stay healthy? Taylor goes backwards every set. Let's get closer to the quarterback. Yeah, that was looking like not a great signing there. Cali Jag reminds everyone to like the stream. Yeah, I like the stream. Give it a thumbs up. I know people are done with football, and I get it. Maybe some people need a football break. That's fine. I don't think this stream will be as long as the other ones because I'm I was done with football. I watched the playoffs, but maybe I'll take a little break here soon, but only because I'm looking at other things, other off-season shows, which I say every off-season, but this one's looking promising. Let's take a look at some of the free agents. What do y'all think about that? All right, well, first of all, let's take a look at the Jags cap situation here. So this is the Jags cap situation. You can see here 15th in total cap. That's not bad, middle of the road. 17th in cap space. That's not bad. 15th in dead cap. Okay. All right. Then we start taking a look at the big heavy hitters here. Christian Kirk, right? So you can get rid of Kirk. And you can get rid of that 13-5 number right there. Evan Ingram, people have talked about him getting the boot too. I don't think we should, but you're clearing up, a lot of cap. You're clearing up a lot. I mean, that's a lot of cap room right there. Big percentage of your cap you could clear up. I mean, that's almost 16% of your cap with two people. That's a lot. Trevor's not going anywhere. Hines Allen's not going anywhere. Sheriff is probably going to be a free agent. He's probably gone. No cash total hit there. But again, they're going to have to replace a guard. I'd like to get someone that's not 34, maybe moves a little bit better. Trevon Walker could be extended this year. I mean, he's now moving into his eligibility of being extended. And do you project he's going to be a good player and you extend him now early, similarly to how we did Trevor? Or do you let him play it out? It's a good question there. Aluakon, good player. Walker Little just re-signed. Here's your D-Ham. I mean, you save $7 million if you cut him. I don't think they will. Is there a chance they restructure? Maybe. Tyson Campbell. We know how I feel about him. Arik Armstead. Yeah. Gabe Davis on the team. ETN, this is an interesting one because we can pick up his 5th-year option or we cannot. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. I feel like they will pick it up there. Ezra Cleveland, Darby, Savage. Then you're kind of getting into some Josh Reynolds, who probably, I don't know, Devin Lloyd, Duvernay, Cook, Wingard. This guy's Anton Harrison's coming up on an extension here soon. When I look at this, the big issue is obviously there's not a lot of talent on this roster. Like when we look at good players, you got Evan Ingram, you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Hines Allen, you got Walker, you got Aluakon. And then you got Kirk, who is like when healthy. You got Tyson Campbell when healthy. Arik Armstead, like maybe this year he'll be better. There's just not a lot of talent. I mean, look at this Eagles. Look at this Eagles roster here. Hurts, Baller, A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson, Josh Sweat, Jordan Mailata, who could be a guy who's in free agency. Oh, never mind. He's extended. Darius Slay, Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, Landon Dickerson, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, CGJ, Mekhi Becton, who's going to be a free agent this year. Quinyon Mitchell, who was a rookie this year. I mean, you just like talent. This team the Jags just don't have talent on their roster. And I know I'm telling you guys something you already know, but the Commanders were fun to watch. They were. So we are staying the same with D-line. We are saying the same with D-line. You can't have too many D linemen, good D linemen. Okay. I've made this point before. I understand what y'all are saying, but when we look at snaps, we have positions where the snap percentage, the amount of snaps you're going to play in a game, where we have much bigger needs. You look at wide receiver, you look at safety, you look at corner, you look at right guard. Like those guys are going to play almost all the snaps in a game. It would be hard for me to draft a guy in the top 5 who's going to play 50% or less. Now, the general rule of thumb is typically take the best player available, but for the same reasons, we're not going to draft a quarterback. I would say maybe not take a D lineman in the first pick. Maybe trade down. I don't know. What do y'all think of the halftime show? I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. I got no problems with it. Like I said earlier, I like Kendrick Lamar. Cool with it. Corner and guard in free agency and draft a top wide receiver. We'll take a look at the free agents list here in a second. Rome wasn't built in a day. Yes, we are envious of the Eagles, but that team wasn't built overnight. Howie is a damn good GM who put together a stellar team. Well, I mean, the Eagles have been good for a while. I mean, they've been in 2 Super Bowls recently, really 3. And then They were in the NFC Championship game, or they were close last year. I mean, they're a good team, man. I mean, they are. You're right. Kirk better be gone if you're going wide receiver. That D-line was built overnight. I do know that. Yeah, when you look at guys like Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham. Yeah, those are some studs. Those are some studs right there. Jags already picked the 5th-year option. Okay, so ETN's already got it. Okay, so he's there. All right, good. Good to know. Kirk and Sheriff for me. Jason, you can cut them. And I know this may be shocking. I would trade Ingram too, because this is a deep tight end class. Eagles might take Tyler Booker to replace Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton's a guy who I'm looking at in free agency. Duval Paul says, no talent on the roster. Who's been drafting all these years? Oh, yeah. No, you're right, Paul. You're right. Topa laughs at that. All right. Well, 10 picks and no reaching for players by Balky. We should be good. Little Big Man says, Jaguars have the makings of a disaster. Hopefully not if Cohen is the next McVay. Goes on to say, draft the O-line. Build the O-line. Trent Masterclass. Balky has been drafting all these elite players. Unless Abdul Carter is on the board, I don't think we go D-line. Abdul Carter is the best player in this draft. 100%. I agree. And he's a D-end. I don't care. Move Trevon Walker to D-tackle and take Abdul Carter. Like, I don't care. Abdul Carter is going to be very, very good. Glad Balky is gone. All right, let's take a look at some free agents here. So let's take a look at the positions that we need the most. We'll start with wide receiver. Okay. So we started taking a look at these wide receivers, and they're in order of like their previous amount of money they made. So it's not in order of like best available. Stephon Diggs, I don't think I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be here. T. Higgins, I know people like him. Young, he's going to be expensive. Obviously, it'd be pairing him back up with Trevor. Wouldn't hate it if it happened, obviously, but just don't think it will. But would be cool. I mean, he would be a guy where you'd probably have to get rid of Evan Ingram if you're going to get him. But again, that might be fine with some people. Keenan Allen, no. Amari Cooper, no. Chris Godwin had a lot of injury history. Good player, though. Wouldn't mind seeing Chris Godwin. Don't think it's the direction they'll go, but I'm okay with it. Brandon Cooks, no. Deontay Johnson, interesting name. Didn't do much this last year at all. D-Hop, no. Mike Williams, no. Robert Woods, no. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. Don't think he's really. I mean, we have him already in like Parker Washington. Darius Slayton, don't want him. KJ Osborne, no. I mean, you see, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This is not a good list of receivers. Is there anybody down here? DJ Chark, Mac Hollins, Nick Westbrook. So like, this is an atrocious free agency class. Like the only names you're potentially maybe even looking at are T. Higgins, Chris Godwin. Darius Slayton, for some reason, seems like a Jaguar name. Like that seems like a guy. Oh, with Balky, not now, hopefully, but that does seem like a name that in the past I would not be surprised if that happened. Railman CT says, like the stream. Yes, like the stream. Do it. Balky has tied our hands on a lot of these contracts. Center and right guard is the only thing you can realistically do. I think Morse is around another year, and I'm okay with that. We'll take a look at the guards here in a second. Eagles have Tyler Steen. Move Walker to D tackle in year 4. I thought the D line was good. So, and I know it's crazy. It is crazy, but I'm just saying that's how good Abdul Carter is. Steen's a 3rd round pick. Jahan Dotson, another guy. Steven Paparo says, is he on this list? Jamison Crowder, old, but Van Jefferson, interesting name. A-Rob, bring him back. Let's see who's at the bottom. Lil Jordan Humphrey. It's hilarious. Tet McMillan at 5, and that's why. Derek Harmon from Oregon, if not Graham. See, that's the thing. If Abdul and T-Mac is there at 5, who you taking? I'm taking Abdul Carter if I'm the GM, only because I think Abdul Carter is like I said, the best player in this draft. 100%. So I'll make it work. I'll put them all on the field and I'll make it work. I will. Wouldn't mind getting Chark, actually, says Brandon McKenzie. This free agency class is not worth it. Zay Jones, another DJ Chark is solid. Okay, so yeah, again, but I think we're looking for like a true number 2, especially if we get rid of Kirk. I don't know. Doug Peterson did us dirty, and he needs to be studied on why he insisted on Press Taylor calling plays. I don't know if T-Mac is that good. He's tall, but I'm not sure. I think he's going to be good, but you're right. Is he 5th overall good? It's a great question. All right, let's take a look at guards. So obviously Brandon Sheriff's on this list. Zach Martin, I don't really want a 35-year-old. James Daniels, I was looking at him a little bit. He's 27. The issue with James Daniels is he like tore his Achilles this year, and he only played in like a couple of games. He was supposed to be pretty good before the injury. So again, you're taking a risk on a guy who didn't play at all last year, but he's in his prime. He was good before the injury. Interesting name there, Kevin Zeitler. It's crazy he's still in the league. Patrick McCarry is a left guard, so you would have to move Ezra Cleveland, which I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm going to say that. Will Hernandez is an interesting name. I think he's also a left guard, though. Mekhi Becton, interesting name. He's had issue with Mekhi Becton. He's only had one good year. So like, how much are you going to pay him? Dalton Risner is an interesting name, but again, they're left guard. So a good amount of left guards, not a lot of right guards. If we go over to this tab, we can actually see the right guards that are available. Zach Martin, again, no. Sheriff, no. This is James Daniels. Talked about him already. Austin Corbett, don't know a lot about him, but only 30. Played for the Panthers. Kevin Zeitler's old, but meh. Will Hernandez, he's a right guard. Okay. Nate Herbig, the guy who I think filled in for James Daniels. Again, don't know a lot about the Steelers, unfortunately. So, I mean, I don't think we want to get down into like, because we need a starter, and I don't know if anyone under this line is a starter. So, Fred Johnson's an interesting name. There was one that's not on here. There was one that I haven't seen that I was interested in. Let me see. I don't know. Look at the DBs. We will here in a second, for sure. Big physical outside wide receiver. If we get Chark, then let's concede next season because y'all obviously want to go backwards, says Timmy Devil. 1,350 yards last season, says Robert Adzer. Chark tells me y'all are, I wanted to draft Becton in 2020. Yeah. He's a big dude. He's huge. Huge. Watch the tape, a bigger BTJ, but better at 50-50 balls. So, Jason, are you okay with the tackle positions, or would you rather slide Walker to guard position and draft another tackle or vice versa? The issue with that, which I would be all on board for because I don't trust Walker Little as far as I can throw him, and I guarantee you I cannot throw Walker Little, is that I don't know if he could play right guard effectively at all. And that's where the need is. And if you bump Ezra to right guard and then Walker Little to left guard and then draft a tackle, then you got 3 guys that are kind of playing either for the first time or out of position. Will Fries is a stud. The older I get, the more I scream draft O-line. T-Mac played no one really. He had good numbers because he and his quarterback were childhood friends. Can it be duplicated with another quarterback? Jonathan Burns said, seen someone say Trey Smith is overrated, and he was getting cooked last night. Trey Smith's an interesting name we haven't brought up. Going to be an expensive guy, but obviously has the pedigree of playing with the Chiefs. Walker's been okay at left tackle, not good at right, and no to him playing guard. I agree. He has been okay. And again, it's not, I don't know. I just don't trust him. Maybe to stay healthy, maybe to, I don't know. Just something. I just don't. I can't put it into words. I just don't really trust him. All right, let's take a look at the. Let's just take a look at the edges real quick, just to see if there's anybody who we could bring in as like a rotational guy, because I don't think we're going to take any of these guys or these guys. Fatu Kasi's on this list. That's crazy. Brandon Graham, 37 years old. Holy moly. Yeah, Chazon, Dante Fowler. See, I don't really like any of these guys to be rotational guys. Dwan Smoot. Yeah, I don't really trust any of these guys. Travis Gibson. Yeah, maybe just draft a guy and see if he works out at edge. Let's take a look at D tackle. BJ Hill. DJ Jones. Javon Kinlaw. Linval Joseph. He's old. Jerry Tillery's interesting name. He's due for a big payday, though. Taven Bryan. Derek Nandi. Jeremiah Ledbetter. This might be the worst free agent class I've ever seen in my entire life. It might be. Oh, Shane McM with $5. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate that. Travis Hunter said T-Mac was his hardest assignment, and he got flagged like 3 times for PI covering him. So I'm guessing you're a Tet McMillan fan with the $5. Thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate that. I haven't dove into the film yet on any of these guys. I plan on doing that. I mean, I still have a month and a half. So maybe like, I don't know, coming weeks, we'll start doing some like, what I'll probably do is I'll probably pick like 3 guys that the Jags might draft and do like a little mini film breakdown on them. But I found in the past that spending a bunch of time doing film breakdowns on other people, on everyone in the draft, it's fun, it's time consuming. And then when we don't draft them, it feels like a waste of time. Although I will say, when I used to do that, I used to get a bunch of views from other teams that would watch my film breakdown about the guy they drafted. So it's good for getting views, but you guys know I don't do this for the views. I do this because I'm a Jags fan. But Shane, thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Walker never got to play one position, defending him. Khalil and Hassan are going to be expensive. Yeah. Yep. Little should have been put at left tackle, and Cam should have been traded a long time ago, in my opinion. I think now that's obviously would have been the right move, hindsight, but you're right. People are sleeping on Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. Oh, I love Jack Sawyer. I love Jack Sawyer. Kinlaw all day. If the Jaguars were to take one back, who? Fowler, Smoot, Chazon, or Bryan? You guys know me. You guys know I would take K'Lavon Chazon in a second. Fowler's been kind of productive though. Let me see what his projected value, his does it have his market value? Let's see. Let's see if we can find our buddy. I know he's on here. I saw him. Let's see what his market value is. 3 years, $15 million. Jeez, good for him, dude. Good for him. At 31, nice. Jaw Joyner is a good late day 2, early day 3 sleeper at edge. All right, I like it. I like it. Wow, your mind will change on Tet. Okay, I'm gonna watch the film. I will. I promise. I promise. I'll watch the film. I will. I mean, he's definitely gonna be a guy that I'm gonna watch it on for sure. Him, Will Johnson, the usual names that are right there. Mason Graham. Well, we also don't have bulky. Rational draft picks may be back. Little Big Man says he'd take Fowler back from that group. All right, let's take a look at the DBs. This is where we probably need to take one in free agency. Carlton Davis. Let's see what his market value is. 3 years, $41 million. So he's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be expensive, but I say we do it. Charvarius Ward, DJ Reed, Jonathan Jones is kind of old. I don't know if he's going to get that kind of money this contract. Byron Murphy. Jeff Okuda's interesting name. I think he's more of a nickel guy, and he was getting paid a lot off his name. But Rasul Douglas, Stephon Gilmore, old Mike Hilton, decent player. Dante Jackson. Oh, your boy. All these former Jags, dude. CJ Henderson. Shaq Griffin. Tre'Davious White. So, Christian Fulton, that's actually not a bad name right there. I wonder how he did this year. I have no clue. So, what do y'all think? Got to be one of these, right? If we're going to do it. We kind of scroll down, see if there's any young guys that are due for a big payday. Marco Wilson, former Gator. Sante Samuel Jr. is about to get a massive payday, but probably from the Chargers. Dory Jackson. Rock Ya-Sin. Yeah. It would be nice if Godwin followed Cohen here. The question is, can Trevor execute Cohen's offense? I think he can. I don't think it's that difficult of an offense. I did the offensive film breakdown. It's not like too strenuous. It's actually quarterback friendly. A lot of levels concepts, a lot of meshes and crossers, a lot of screens. It's not that complicated. It's really not. Read all day. I doubt the Chargers keep Samuels. He's fine. You doubt they keep him? Yeah, I would take him. Asante Samuel for sure. I just saw too many times where Carter got stuffed by big tackles with hands on grip. Oh, really? Washington Jags fan, what up? Channel member. Am I a fool for being optimistic for next season once again? No, you're not a fool. We're all going to be optimistic. We all will be. We're all going to come around to that eventually. It's not right now for some. It is right now for some. I am not like pessimistic, but I'm not optimistic. And it's not because I have any doubts with the coaching staff. I think the roster is not very good right now. And even if the roster does get good, I'm a little worried about first year coaches at every position besides special teams. There being a learning curve, which is fine. I'm okay with it. I talked to Travis about this on my show on Friday. Go back and watch it. I asked him this question point blank. How patient will Jags fans be with these first year coaches? Because there's probably going to be a learning curve. Look back to Dan Campbell's first year. There's probably going to be a learning curve. Like, our Jags fans going to be patient. Like, you kind of have to be, but that's why I'm not like, oh, Jags going to be good next year. As long as I'm doubting Liam Cohen, I just know for a head coach, there's typically a learning curve. Oh, yes. Dave Caldwell, 2 first-round picks, CJ Henderson, and K'Lavon Chaisson. Lawrence is going to jump back up the rankings as a top 15 quarterback, and people are going to be like, wow, Doug Peterson was really bad, wasn't he? I like that, Jaros. He says he's halfway in. Okay, we'll take that. All over our inside defensive linemen are constantly getting walked backwards and pushed off their spot. We don't remember what Saquon did to us. Henry did 2 years ago. Mixon, etc. Yeah. But your linebackers have a part in that too, though. If you get run all over, it's not just on your interior D line. Can they make a huge difference? Yes, they can. But good linebackers can fill those gaps. And Aluakon's good, but we haven't really gotten top-tier play out of Devin Lloyd. Ventrell Miller's kind of coming around a bit, but he has his bad moments. So, I think there's just more issues. That's why I keep saying this team's not that talented. Like, they're in the NFL. They're good players, but when you compare them to these Super Bowl teams, they're just not that talented. It is what it is. My optimism depends on GM. I think Tony Khan is the GM. I've been saying that for a while. I've been saying that ever since they didn't fire Trent Baalke. Excuse me. I've been saying that since they didn't fire Trent Baalke. I think Tony Khan is stepping in as the GM. I really do. Now, will they hire a GM? Yes. But will it be it'll probably be a limited capacity role, which is probably why they haven't hired anybody. Says good points. Thank you. Topa, the tank for Trevor began in the first round of the 2020 draft. I think our roster is underrated. It's just Doug and Nielsen suck so much as coaches that everyone plays bad, even our good players. I hope so. Don't want to take another cornerback high in the draft, i.e. CJ Henry. It does seem like the miss rate on corners is just outstanding in the tops of the rounds. Like there's the surefire ones like Jalen Ramsey. But then like outside of those guys, the miss rate's pretty high. Probably just as high as it is on quarterback. Yes, that was one to remember. Defense will be way ahead of the offense. It will take half the season. It's going to depend on how good our O-line coach is. Can blame Foye when they had him playing out of position. Can't blame him. If Ethan Wass stays, it might be Khan. I'm telling you. Balky built a terrible defense. There was nothing Nielsen could do. I kind of agree with that. Like, who thought bringing in Darnell Savage, starting Antonio Johnson, Andre Sisco, and Ronald Darby was a good defensive build? Derek Stingley was at the top of the draft. He was. I mean, they're out there. You're right. They're out there. But for every one, there's one that Mitchell was good. Yeah, we could have drafted him, but I'm happy with BTJ. All right, let's take a look at the safeties. I would say go for both. So let's see who we have here. Justin Reed. Let's see what his market value is. 3 years, $51 million. That's expensive. Justin Simmons, a little bit older, but Marcus Epps from Vegas. Let's see what his market value is. Okay, so he wasn't very good last year. Xavier Woods, Jeremy Chin, Julian Blackman, Jordan Fuller, MJ Stewart, Quandre Diggs, a little bit older. DeMonte Casey, absolutely not. My most hated player. Well, maybe Al Shair Aziz is, but for the same reasons I hate him, I also hate DeMonte Casey. Ashton Davis, Sam Franklin, Javon Holland. Now there's a name that a lot of people are seeming to dial in on. Let's see what his market value is. 4 years, $60 million. I mean, he's up there. I mean, look at his comps. Buda Baker, Derwin James, Antoine Whitfield, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Is it worth it? Is a free safety worth $17 million a year? When you have needs at receiver, guard, corner. Richie Grant, Jordan Poyer, another name. A little bit older, but Trevor Moehrig, a name that a lot of people like. Let's see what his value is. 3 years, 47. So he'd be a little cheaper. He's a little younger. Yeah. Don't know. Mitchell was a late first round pick, though. Yeah. I don't know if I agree with a lot of statements here. Top 10 corners have been hitting like crazy these past years. Okay. I don't have time to go back and look, but you're probably right. It would be nice to hit on a late round running back like other teams do. Tank ain't it. JC has injury concerns, but yes, his first years was good. Do you think Javon Holland's down year was because of the scheme or something else? The whole team had a down year, so I don't think it was his fault. But I guess you could say the same thing about anybody. No safety is worth the money. Sauce had a historical rookie season. And is our defense roster that bad? I mean, I can't stand Balky, but he drafted and traded some good players. Armstead. See, I mean, that's where you're going to lose people, though. Your first name on there, I don't think anyone thinks he's that good. Was he good in San Fran? Yes, he had a great team around him. Josh Hines-Allen, yes, he didn't draft him, though, but he did re-sign him. Trevon Walker, he drafted him, but he passed on a better guy. Devin Lloyd, is he that good? Aluakon's good, yes. Darby's not that good. Ventrell Miller is okay. Buster Brown is okay. Like, that's not a good list. That's not a good list. I mean, this is why I did this show tonight. We just watched two really good defenses. 5 of those guys wouldn't start on the Eagles. The only guy that would is maybe Josh Allen and Travon Walker. Maybe Aluakon. Good teams like Philly are going to get discounts. Maybe. Pay a good corner and safety's job is easy. I agree. I think Will Johnson will have a Denzel Ward, Pat Surtain-like career. I've seen some things like good and bad about him, so I don't really know how to feel or what to think about him. I have to watch the film for myself. I think we need safety more than anything. I love the Georgia defense was worse than the league. Yes, it was. Darby sucked too. I swear you make the best videos on my leg day. If a lesson was learned, protect your quarterback and attack the enemy quarterbacks. It's all in the trenches. D-line and O-line elevates everyone. Glad you're doing a leg day. I gotta make an admission here. Today was my pull leg day where I do hamstrings and glute focus. I skipped it today. I had to work until like 7:30. In my head, I was like, oh, I'm going to go prepare for this video. I was just justifying it. That's on me. I wasn't feeling great from yesterday. Well, not hungover, but I wasn't feeling great. Legs were still a little sore from my last push leg workout day. I went pretty heavy. I'm making excuses again. I'm making excuses again. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to go to the gym before work. That's my plan for tomorrow because I have to work late again tomorrow. Lloyd's a bust. Stingley has been consistent, but not the rest of them. Jets fans saying Sauce didn't have a good year. That was a trash list. I would have rather you put Mason Smith and Jerrion Jones on there. That would have been better for me if you would have put those two. Are these players fixable? I don't know, man. That's a good question. Maybe they are. Maybe they get in with a new coach, Campanelli. It seems like a pretty stand-up guy and like pretty solid. Maybe they do. Maybe they are fixable. Maybe Cisco turns it around. Maybe Antonio Johnson turns it around. Maybe Devin Lloyd turns it around. Maybe Arik Armstead turns it around. Maybe Jarris is right. Maybe it's the coaching, the scheme, the play calls, the coverage calls, the blitzes. Maybe that's true. Johnson's his own corner. Chef for the boy. Hey, brother. Sorry I'm late. Wanted to ask you how you feel about Tyler Warren. He's my pick in the first after a trade back. Tyler Warren. Hey, Siri, add Tyler Warren to my draft preview list. Will Johnson has injury history and can't tackle for shit. I didn't find a draw. Oh, get out of here. Yeah, we should have a discussion on players. My game from A to Z did film grades on all starters, and a lot of these guys had decent film grades before they fell off a cliff, but that was Nielsen. Lloyd is another player that's not do what got him drafted. Lloyd rushed. That's true. Think about it like this. Okay. The Jets probably have the most impressive defensive roster in football, and most of them played like garbage this year. Coaching matters a lot. Firing Saleh was a death sentence. Okay. Okay. If not Will Johnson, like the kid from East Carolina, Siobhan Revel Jr. Yeah, I typed that in advance. Sorry, I'm not going to argue with you. No, you're good. You're not arguing with me. I like your ability to. I think you may have a good point about the defensive coaches. I mean, because we've seen Cisco be good. We've seen Devin Lloyd be good in college. We've seen Arik Armstead be good in San Fran. You didn't mention Mason Smith and Jarrion Jones, who I think are both really good players. Don't apologize. We didn't blitz. Oh, apparently you don't have to. All the Twitter experts, you don't have to blitz. Look at the Eagles. They did it, and they won. That's called hope, and hope isn't a plan. That being said, though, safety free agents is stacked. Grab one of them, especially Javon Holland. We can find corners, man. I'm sorry if it is Surtain, Ramsey, or Stingley, then I don't want them. Luka debut tonight for LeBall go in Reddick's Lakers. Hey, I'm not a Lakers fan, but I am a JJ fan. Growing up, I was my favorite basketball player, so I'll always be a JJ Redick fan. Two of our biggest needs are plentiful in free agency, and they're mostly young. That is offensive guard and safeties. Okay. They all gained weight and slowed down. Haven't we all, Robert? Haven't we all? Last comment. Cisco's problem is that he put on too much weight and he can't tackle for shit. He misses so many that I want to drop kick him after. That's true. He was very frustrating. He was very frustrating. He was. Big regression year for him. A bad time, too. Bad time. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here tonight. Just want to talk a little about the Super Bowl. Want to talk a little bit about the Jags free agency. Want to peek at it. Jesus loves you. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Football season is over. It is. But me and Travis are cooking something up. If you watched my show Friday night, no, actually, we talked about it off live. So never mind. Travis and me are cooking something up. You're going to want to stay tuned. You're going to want to be peeking around here in the next few weeks because we got some fun things that we are starting to put together. And we have some good help. We have some good people that are giving us some good advice. So there's a chance that it could be successful. There's always that chance. But be looking out for that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. It may be on another channel. Maybe. Thank you guys for coming and watching. I appreciate that. I love talking Jags with you guys. It's always a great time. Have a bunch of people in here tonight. I appreciate that. We got a $5 super chat from Shane McM. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, Shane. Thank you to all the commenters that were here commenting. You guys are awesome. You're why I do this. Well, you're not why I do this, but you help me want to do this. I do this because it's fun, but I am glad that you're here. Make sure to like the video. Follow everything in the video description. Go buy you some Racha Sriacha sauce. It's made by a Jags fan. You can say something about Jags or Jags United in the comments or the notes when you order it, and that will not give you a discount, but it might give you a teal logoed Racha Sriacha. And he's a Jags fan. So again, we always want to support our own. If you have a business that you want me to promote, I do not need any money from you. I just need your product to be good, and I need you to be a Jags fan. And I will push your product because I want Jags fans to do well. When Jags fans do well, we all do well. The boats rise with the tides. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for being here. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I will see you guys maybe tomorrow night, maybe not. But until then, as always, go Jags.